All right, so before we get started, let's all give it up for my amazingly talented classmates who are just providing you with a musical performance. So, they're all back there trying to leave, but we've locked them in. So, faculty and staff, friends and family, class of 2022, I'm pleased to welcome you to the George Washington School of Medicine and Health Sciences White Coat and Honor Code ceremony. My name is Arman Hussain, and I've almost lost my voice. I'm a second-year medical student and orientation co-chair. The White Coat ceremony takes place every year at the conclusion of medical school orientation, and is the first time the new medical students will be donning their white coats. While this symbolizes the official induction into the healthcare community, many of you have already proven yourselves to be capable caregivers and superb scientists. Class of 2022, we are excited that you are a part of our community and look forward to learning alongside you. The White Coat ceremony is also an opportunity to celebrate this accomplishment with family and friends. I would like to extend a warm welcome to those of you who have traveled near and far to be here today. You are an integral part of the community because of your support to our students, so thank you. Also, hi, Mom and Dad. I'd also like to recognize the faculty who are joining us today. Students, these people care about you a lot. The deans and faculty at GW are ready to share their wealth and knowledge with you. They will be your teachers, your research mentors, and your career advisors. Thank you for all that you do. All right. I'd now like to introduce you to Dr. Jeffrey Ackman, the Vice President of the Health Affairs and Dean of the School of Medicine and Health Sciences for the George Washington University. Let's move this over here. Dr. Ackman is a renowned psychiatrist who helped define and develop the field of HIV and AIDS psychiatry. Dr. Ackman received his medical degree and completed his psychiatry residency at GW. He joined the full-time faculty at GW and earned a national reputation in the medical education and psychiatry before being appointed the chair of the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences. Dr. Ackman was named Vice President for Health Affairs and Dean in 2013 after serving in an interim capacity since December 2010. Dr. Ackman leads the 11th oldest medical school in the United States, the first medical school in the nation's capital, and one of the most prestigious medical research centers in the country. Under Dr. Ackman's tenure, we have increased research awards by over 200%, embarked on the creation of a new GW Cancer Center, revised our MD program curriculum to expand team-based learning, interprofessional education, and service learning, leveraged our location in Washington, D.C. by implementing an innovative clinical public health initiative, expanded our clinical enterprise through the opening of the GW Comprehensive Breast Center, the GW Transplant Institute, and the GW Ron and Joy Paul Kidney Center, and we have been widely recognized for our commitment to improving the health and well-being of our local, national, and global communities. So without further ado, we are proud to introduce you to Dr. Ackman.
Great turnout. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me again offer my most enthusiastic congratulations to all of you who are set to begin medical school. And to all the family members, significant others, loved ones, and friends of our new medical students, welcome, congratulations, and thank you for every ounce of support and money that you have provided them to get to this path today. To the parents in particular, let me just say, I can assure you that you have raised amazing kids with wonderful values, and we will take good care of them. So let me offer my heartfelt thanks to our fantastic second-year students, to our admissions dean, Diane McQuail, and our great admissions staff, and all of the faculty and students who participated in the admissions process, to Dean Rhonda Goldberg and all of the deans and all of the dean's office staff, to our wonderful staff in the GW Medical School Office of Development and Alumni Relations, and in the Office of Communications and Marketing. Thank you for your outstanding efforts in getting us to this moment. Let me add a special thank you to Dr. Babak Sirani for joining us today to be our keynote speaker. Dr. Sirani is one of our top physicians and one of our most beloved faculty members and alumni. I'm also doing double duty today, as I'm also representing the Medical Alumni Association. So in my capacity as the representative of the almost 14,000 GW educated and trained physicians around the world, congratulations on beginning medical school. The purchase of your white coats by the many generous alumni, donors, families, and friends listed in your program is our way of saying welcome to the GW medical community. These donations reflect that GW Medical School graduates want to invest in the future of medicine, that we believe in our alma mater and in your dream of becoming physicians. I want to particularly thank our alumni and all donors who support our student scholarship program and are participating in our Adopt a Doc program. Donors in this very special program have agreed to adopt a student and make a pledge of tuition support for that student for a student's 4 years of medical school. This really remarkable financial commitment and the bond that will develop between the student and his or her adopter is a wonderful example of the gratitude and commitment that our alumni, faculty, deans, and families display. And as alumni, we recognize and understand, perhaps better than anyone, the path you are embarking on and the enormous responsibilities that you are undertaking. Responsibilities not only by entering the profession of medicine, but because you are now a member of the GW University medical community. And so in return, the graduates of the GW Medical School and residency programs, along with our faculty and staff, enthusiastically embrace you as members of this community. However, we also expect that by agreeing to take on this mantle, that you will live up to the ideals and values articulated in the GW Medical School oath that you are soon to recite and symbolized by the white coat that you are soon to don. That you work to become the best, the absolute best physician that you can be, and that you give back generously to your community in which you live. As your dean and as a representative of the GW Medical Alumni Association, we look forward to a lifetime partnership with each of you. As was mentioned, we're the 11th oldest medical school in the United States, and we were founded in 1825. We're the oldest medical school in the nation's capital. Our identity and our mission are shaped by our location in Washington, D.C. When you read the school's mission statement, you will of course see the mission consistent with an academic medical center, the key pillars of education, research, clinical care, and service. However, you will also see a commitment to diversity, inclusion, and embracing the challenge of eliminating health disparities. Yesterday, we moved forward along the path of improving the lives of DC residents by signing a letter of intent to build a new hospital in Southeast DC. Just 15 minutes, yeah, it's really terrific. Just 15 minutes or a few metro stops away from the GW campus, these neighborhoods east of the Anacostia River are plagued by poverty, low educational attainment, crime, and have some of the most challenging health disparities in the country, including unacceptably high rates of cancer deaths, HIV infection, diabetes and diabetes-related complications, hypertension, kidney disease, asthma, infant mortality, and on and on. It's hard to think of a medical condition where the morbidity and mortality is not worse, significantly worse, just 15 minutes away than it is from the rest of the city. Our expectation is that you are learning medicine at GW and that you will embrace our mission, to improve the lives of our local, national, and global communities, including our efforts to improve health disparities in the District of Columbia. And so welcome to the university and the medical school named for George Washington. As they say in the hit show Hamilton, it must be nice to have Washington on your side. As you know, George Washington was the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army of the American Revolutionary War. He presided over the convention that drafted the United States Constitution. Of course, he was the first president of the United States and the father of our country. And there's that iconic tale of the cherry tree, the hatchet, and his not being able to tell a lie. George Washington's stature in world history is tied to a vision of future greatness for this country. His remarkable leadership of a revolution that gave birth to a new identity for the colonies, and for his honesty and integrity. New members of the George Washington MD class of 2022, there are 3 pieces of advice symbolized by the life of our namesake that I'd like to leave with you today. 1, as a member of George Washington's medical army, aspire to greatness together. 2, in leading the creation of the United States, your GW white coat says that you will provide care for anyone, regardless of ability to pay, religious beliefs, race, gender, ethnicity, or country of origin, sexual orientation or gender identity, political beliefs, immigrant status, or any other potential descriptor other than patient. And 3, never forget that honesty and integrity are the central components of the physician identity. In your case, we will not arm you with a hatchet. We will, however, present to you today a far less dangerous tool, a mighty reflex hammer, or a mini hatchet. When you use it to elicit reflexes on your patients, I hope you wield it with a great deal less force than a hatchet. However, I'm hoping that its shape will forever provide a link to the story of George Washington's hatchet and the cherry tree, and similar to the white coat that you will receive today, be an everlasting symbol for professionalism, humanism, inclusion, and most importantly, truth and integrity in medicine. Of course, George Washington was not a physician. However, his name is stitched onto your white coat. So wear it proudly, hold yourself in uprightness and honor, and best wishes on a very successful and rewarding path to physicianhood. And remember, it will be nice to have Washington on your side. Thank you.
How are you doing? In September 2014, our school is pleased to welcome Dean Simons to serve as a Senior Associate Dean for the MD program. Dean Simons provides leadership for the ongoing development, implementation, and evaluation of the school's undergraduate and graduate medical education. In this capacity, he oversees the Office of Medical Education, Graduate Medical Education, Student Affairs, Admissions, and the Himmelfarb Library. He continues the tradition of collaborative scholarship, innovative educational excellence to assure preparation of medical school, residency, and fellowship graduates for clinical practice and medical research. Dr. Simons was a former clerkship and residency program director and was the Vice Dean of Educational Affairs at Penn State and Dartmouth Medical Schools. He is an experienced test question writer, having served on the test writing committees for the National Board of Medical Examiners, the in-service training exam for the Internal Medicine Question Writing Committee for the American Board of Internal Medicine, and the Residency Review Committee for Internal Medicine. Dean Simons offers valuable Step 1 review sessions for the first and second year students, in addition to monthly feedback lunches where students have an opportunity to discuss the curriculum and student life at GW. Finally, Dr. Simons is a board-certified internist and geriatrician and sees patients in the medical faculty practice. He is a Master of the American College of Physicians and currently serves on the Board of Regents of this specialty organization. Now please join me in welcoming Dean Simons to the podium.
Good afternoon, and let me add my welcome to all of you for this special ceremony. This is the 20th White Coat ceremony here at the George Washington School of Medicine and Health Sciences. And our purpose today is fourfold. First, we celebrate the achievements and accomplishments of the women and men who comprise our entering medical school class this year. Secondly, we bear witness to each member of our newest class as they don their white coats, symbolic of entering into the profession with all of its duties, responsibilities, and rewards. And third, we place the importance on duty, altruism, trust, and humanism in the practice of medicine and in the preparation of the next generation of physicians. And fourth, when the formal ceremony is completed, we celebrate again with all who have gathered today. As I was preparing these remarks for this ceremony today, I was thinking about our new students who are entering this profession at a time when our healthcare system is transforming what we as physicians do in dramatic and unforeseeable ways. And the fact is that it's in the times of seismic change, it becomes critical to connect with our real purpose, the real goals of medicine. The profession of medicine is a scientific-based practice, and our medical students at George Washington receive a rigorous basic science education, as these first-year students will soon attest to. I'm sure that we can all agree that our scientific model of medicine has served us well in the last century, given all the advances in the profession. But science has its limits. Medicine is fundamentally a practical discipline. For all of our aspirations to be scientific, medicine is not astronomy. It is a service discipline anchored in helping real people with real problems. And this ceremony is a reminder of medicine's prime goal, to serve our patients. So back to our first-year medical students, I have a question for you, probably the first of many questions you'll get in medical school. So what is the single most important characteristic a medical student should have to be an outstanding physician? Is it intelligence, empathy, bedside manner, attention to detail, time management, multitasking, good judgment? Well, I know perhaps many of you are from the state of California. We always have a lot of medical students from California. So about 10 years ago, your state legislature was considering passing a law requiring medical schools to have humanities courses. And the idea was to help students be more humane. Now, a colleague of mine, Dr. Faith Fitzgerald at UC Davis, was skeptical. And she doesn't like government getting into medicine in the first place. So she said, what evidence supports that being well-versed in the humanities made one more humane? So they did a study at UC Davis. They looked at the reviews of third and fourth year medical students in their clinical clerkships. And they noted the words that suggested humane behaviors, like caring or warm. And they looked to see if there was any connection between positive descriptors of humanities and coursework taken prior to medical school in the humanities. And surprisingly, there was. Medical students viewed as more humane took more coursework in college. But here's the key. But it wasn't just in the humanities. It was in any class they took. The more classes they took, the nicer they were described. But why? Well, Dr. Fitzgerald poses a theory about this and speculated there's a single underlying trait underlying both the desire to learn in the classroom and to be empathetic on the wards and the clinics. And so she writes, and let me quote her, "What is kindness as perceived by patients? Perhaps it is curiosity. How are you? Who are you? How can I help you? Tell me more. Wow, isn't that interesting?" And patients say, "Wow, he asked me a lot of questions. She really seemed to care about what was going on with me. That is the same inquisitiveness that fuels students to seek knowledge in the classroom also propels them to find out more about their patients. And seeking to find out more comes across as a display of compassion. And she concludes, rather than stating that the study of humanities makes one more humane, I propose that humane people are curious and therefore choose to explore the humanities as well as the sciences. Truly curious people go beyond science into the art, history, literature, and language as part of the practice of medicine. Both the science and art of medicine are advanced by curiosity. So, medical students, guard your curiosity. Be curious enough to be disciplined to understand the basic sciences that underlie the practice of medicine, but also be curious enough about your patients to get to know them. If you are curious, you'll know your patients better, and they will trust you better, and that means they will get better care. And remember the quote that Dr. William Osler once made, the renowned Hopkins internist: "The good physician treats the disease, the great physician treats the patient with the disease." So welcome to medicine, first-year students. It's a wonderful place to be. You are beginning a career that demands and rewards you with continuous learning and the pursuit of excellence. These very demands are our strengths and bring joy to medicine. Your arrival as new college reminds us, as it does every year, of the rewards of being a doctor. It motivates to do our best we can for our patients, our colleagues, and for our medical students and for ourselves. Wear your white coat proudly, be curious, and reach out for help when it gets heavy. It's now my pleasure to introduce our faculty keynote speaker for this white coat ceremony. Please welcome this year's white coat ceremony speaker, Dr. Babak Sarani. You know what? I'm sorry, I think I made a mistake. I went out of order here a little bit. I think we have our student speaker first, and then I'll introduce Dr. Sarani later. My apologies.
Thank you, Dean Simons. One of the biggest honors that we have as the White Coat Planning Committee is electing a member of our class to give the student remarks at the White Coat ceremony. This year, I'm happy to introduce Pranav Kaul to share a few words with you about his journey with his white coat this past year. Although originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Pranav also attended GW for undergrad and has lived in DC since 2012. At the School of Medicine, Pranav leads efforts to extend GW's medical care to the underserved as a co-director of a student-run healing clinic. This summer, he worked on a data visualization project to help assess population health needs in Southeast DC. Pranav also serves as an admissions ambassador, is a member of the American Medical Association, and always manages to make his classmates smile with his clever scientific puns and Tiny Desk concert performances. Please join me in welcoming Pranav Kaul.
Thank you, Paulina, for the lovely introduction, and thank you to the organizing committee for this honor and privilege today to speak before all of you. If you guys are expecting science puns, you will only find disappointment. Good afternoon. Nearly 14 months ago, thousands of students from across the country submitted their applications to the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences. In just a few moments, I, along with friends, family, and faculty gathered here today, will have the distinct honor of welcoming the nearly 190 of you who will be inaugurated as the GWMD class of 2022. Before I begin, I want you all to take a moment and just appreciate that. Now, the prompt for this speech asked that we describe what our white coat means to us. And if I'm being perfectly honest, there are enough books written on this topic to fill a small library. And in fact, it literally fills a small library down the street in Himmelfarb. You can go check it out. And so basically I decided, why not leave you instead with the idle thoughts of a 23-year-old myself. If I can be serious for a moment though, in my time here I have learned that the white coat is neither purely symbolic, nor is it merely a uniform for our future job. Its significance is subjective, and it's drawn entirely from the context and the meaning which the wearer imparts upon it. That said, I personally think the most important aspect of our white coat is what we put into it, both literally and figuratively. See, when you're up at 7 a.m. at the end of a grueling 12-hour shift, there are two things in your white coat that'll keep you going. The first is the Red Bull that you found in the break room a couple hours ago and stuffed into your pocket. And the second is yourself, your desire to learn, your drive to succeed, and your compassion for patients. The same things that drove you into the field of medicine. These are the characteristics within you that will shape your growth as a physician. Consequently, these characteristics are sometimes the most difficult to maintain. They're under constant attack from some of our most commonly ignored foes, burnout and stress. But if there's one characteristic of those three that I've gained a strong appreciation for over the past year, it has absolutely been that capacity for compassion. Having a white coat is challenging at times, believe it or not. And in those moments, it is essential to remember that you're still a human inside of it, capable of compassion and empathy and love. So walking around a hospital will become an entirely different experience for you in your white coat. Nurses will welcome you, patients will ask things of you, and residents and attendings will start teaching you more things than you need to know. And so naturally, when I jogged behind my preceptor for the first time into the trauma bay at Children's National, I was shocked at how effortless it was. No one stopped me at the door. I was there, a curious and eager medical student who knew nothing about the human body. And yet I was sitting in a trauma bay watching the team stabilize a young car crash victim. As that trauma team was working, I remember hearing intense sobbing from a woman standing next to me. It was the young boy's mother. A flurry of questions entered my head at that moment. Should I ask her if she's all right? Should I get her some water? Should I console her? Should I say or do anything? I had never in my life thought so much about showing someone compassion. And similarly, I had never in my life worried so much that I would say the wrong thing. Fortunately for me, a third-year student leaned in and started whispering words of support to the mother, and I was able to follow her lead. But in that moment, and in my brand new white coat, I received an early and tough lesson that displaying compassion professionally is learned, not innate. Just like clinical medicine, practicing compassion and love takes experience and dedication to master. These skills will not come pre-sewn into the threads of your white coat. However, it's easy to say that, but traits like these, and in particular unconditional love, can be exhausting to put into practice. Without appreciation, it can feel as though love sometimes just isn't worth the effort. In those moments, it's important and essential to remember that we are appreciated by our patients, by our colleagues, by our friends and family, and above all, by ourselves. In those moments, these are the sources of love and appreciation to rely on. So how many of you today remember Fred Rogers and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? Yeah. So if you were like me, you grew up entirely on public broadcast television, and so he was a huge influence on my life. And one of his quotes always stuck with me. He would always say that the greatest thing that we can do is to let people know that they're loved and capable of loving. And in medicine, a career field built upon a foundation of compassion, should we not hold ourselves to the same highest standards of empathy and love? So I said before that the key to maintaining these traits was practice, so let's do that today. So many people have helped each of us come to this point today. Some of them are here, some of them are very far away. all those who have cared about us and wanted what was best for us in life. Take with me a moment, 10 seconds of silence, to think of the people who have helped you become who you are today. Whomever we think of in moments like these, how pleased they must feel to know how much we truly love them and how much their love means to others. I want to take a moment and remind you all how far you've come. For the longest time, you were one of those many individuals fighting and working their hardest to earn a spot here. And now this day and this honor is all yours. You've already demonstrated your capacity for the traits that I've discussed today, but no one expects for you to be a master of all of them tomorrow. Medical school is your time now to learn, to grow, and to achieve. So here's my only piece of advice. Take your new white coats and find out what they mean to you. Thank you again to the organizing committee and the administration for this opportunity. Congratulations again to the class of 2022. I'll see you all on Monday.
Thank you, Pranav, for your words of wisdom. I would now like to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Babak Sarani. Dr. Sarani graduated from the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences in 1997. He then completed his residency in general surgery at GW in 2004. Following this, he completed fellowship training in trauma and critical care surgery at the University of Pittsburgh. He began his career as an assistant professor of surgery in the Division of Trauma, Emergency Surgery, and Critical Care Surgery at the University of Pennsylvania. While at Penn, he established and directed their rapid response team. His experience with program development led him to be recruited back to GW in 2011. Here, he is a professor of surgery and emergency medicine, as well as the founder and director of the Center for Trauma and Critical Care, our Level 1 Trauma Center. As a faculty member at GW, he has started a surgical critical care fellowship, established the GW Patient Logistics Center, and launched our first critical care transport program. His research interests include measurement of coagulopathy following injury and processes to mitigate the risk of death following penetrating trauma. Additionally, Dr. Sarani is leading the effort to start the first aeromedical program at GW Hospital. Please help me welcome Dr. Sarani.
Well, thank you, Mary, and I'll say Mary spent the summer doing research with us and was instrumental in many of the things that we're doing, so thank you very much. Let me first start by saying hello to everybody and thanking Deans Ackman and Simons, as well as the organizing committee and the entire medical school administration for the opportunity to speak to you and welcome you, really on behalf of the School of Medicine alumni. Before I get too far into my talk, I wanted to let everyone here know that GW has a great alumni network, and the families, friends, partners here today can stay up to date with happenings at GW by filling out the card in your packet and dropping it off at the boxes at the exits. So I've been thinking for quite some time about exactly what to say about what an incredible lifelong journey you're about to start. I thought perhaps the best way to portray this to you is to share with you a number of stories that have impacted me over the years. Although I wouldn't say medical school was exactly easy, I will tell you that to this day, some of my closest friends and fondest memories are from that time. So in a few months, when it's winter and the schedule seems unreasonable and grueling, and you're wondering why on earth you signed up for this in the first place, reason number one: you're about to make some of the best friends that you will carry for the rest of your life. And in doing so, you will also become a doctor, a master scientist of the human body. And this will be done over 48 reasonably short months. After medical school, I stayed at GW to complete my residency in general surgery. As with medical school, I wouldn't call that the easiest period of my life either. But there's certainly something to be said for working 80 hours a week with a group of your peers. You develop a sense of camaraderie that is second to none. I met my wife during this time, and my co-residents to this day are the godparents to my children. Equally importantly, I took the lessons learned in medical school and learned how to apply them in the real world in order to save lives. In short, I became a trained surgeon, and so too you shall become trained physicians who will follow the path of Hippocrates in caring for the ill and the injured. That's reason number 2 for joining us, and today represents the first step in that journey. After residency, I spent an additional year training to be a trauma surgeon. One day I was in the cafeteria having lunch with a couple of my co-fellows, and I heard an overhead page for a cardiac surgeon to respond emergently to the cardiac cath lab. I was just nosy enough to convince myself and a couple of my friends to go check it out. Besides, I said to the fellows, really, what are the chances that a cardiac surgeon's eating lunch anyway? So when we entered the cardiac cath lab, we saw that the cardiologist was doing CPR. I asked if I could help, and he told me to open the patient's chest right there and then. He said that he was doing a procedure and he had punctured the patient's heart. The patient had a condition called pericardial tamponade, something you will learn about within the next year or 2. Remember, I had only finished my training a few months ago. But mustering the skills and the confidence I had garnered in my residency, I opened the chest. I identified a hole in the heart, put my finger on it. I stopped the bleeding just as the cardiac surgical fellow entered the cardiac cath lab. And he looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I was breathing so hard, and I explained in 2 to 3 word, grammatically incorrect sentences what I had found, and I handed the patient off to him. That patient survived. Not too long after I completed my training, Haiti was struck with a massive earthquake, and I was asked to serve as the only trauma surgeon sent by the University of Pennsylvania to assist the wounded. I was there for 2 weeks, carrying out skin grafting, completing amputations, and helping my orthopedic surgical colleagues with management of complex mangled extremities. So reason number 3 why you're doing this. Because soon you will be one of the few persons in the world whose job it will be to save lives and alleviate suffering. After I completed my fellowship, I found myself at the University of Pennsylvania for my first job. Being somewhat obtuse to the world, I didn't quite realize that Penn is an Ivy League school. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, because I didn't know that I should be nervous. After all, what's so unusual about a kid who was born in Iran, went to UC Davis, California, and ended up at GW, ending up really as an assistant professor of surgery at the University of Pennsylvania as his first job? Seems natural, right? I quickly realized that my medical knowledge and my surgical skills were just as good as anybody else's at Penn. But in walking around the hospital, I noticed that there were a lot of cardiac arrests. What they call code blues on TV. And at first I thought, this is a big hospital, these things happen. But with more time, I realized they were announcing one code every other day, by and large. And turns out that back then, the hospital did not have something that is now mandatory across the United States, a rapid response team. A rapid response team is kind of like a 911 for the hospital. So when a nurse finds that a patient is deteriorating rapidly, they call the rapid response team. And a team of people, usually from the ICU, comes down quickly to evaluate the patient and intervene before things get worse. But back in 2005, Penn did not have a rapid response team. In fact, very few hospitals did. The process back then involved the nurse calling the intern, who would come by and see the patient, who would then call the resident, who would call the attending staff, who would tell the resident what to do, who would tell the intern what to do, who would tell the nurse what to do. And you can imagine all the possibilities that could occur, especially if either the intern or the resident didn't feel the need to pass this up the chain of command. But the place where rapid response teams were the most mature in the United States happened to be the University of Pittsburgh. So I teamed up with a few of my other physician colleagues, and we created the first rapid response team at Penn. Within 2 years, we decreased the cardiac arrest rate by 42%, something that remained stable over the next 6 years that I was there. And we published our outcomes. And all of a sudden, that same kid who grew up in Iran, who went to UC Davis, who graduated from GW, was getting invitations to speak all over the country and in Europe on rapid response teams. So let's fast forward a little bit. After 6 really great years at Penn, I got a call from my chairman here at GW asking if I would like to come back and be the chief of trauma surgery. The trauma center needed to be revamped. They wanted someone who was an outsider but really understood GW. And remember that I'd spent 11 years here between medical school and residency. And after getting settled, it occurred to me that really nothing had changed at GW since I left. Whereas other hospital systems had grown and consolidated, GW was kind of alone. So in working with all the various physicians and the hospital leadership, we created the Center for Trauma and Critical Care, what we now call CTAC. We established a transfer center and started reaching out to community hospitals for an 80-mile radius. We launched the transfer center in January 2013, and in that month, we got 2 calls. Whereas some people might have been disheartened, I saw it as a 200% increase in volume. By the end of 2013, we had accepted 400 transfers. Last year, we accepted 2,000. At the same time, we reached out to paramedics in the entire region, and our trauma volume started to go up. When I started in 2011, we evaluated roughly 1,300 trauma patients. Last year, we evaluated 2,100. In January of this year, we launched our first ground critical care ambulance, which is staffed by specially trained nurses and paramedics, all of whom are medically directed through CTAC. They are tasked with transporting critically injured and critically ill people from outside hospitals to George Washington, persons who would most likely die if they were left at the referring hospitals. So here's another story. About 3 months ago, I was home having dinner with my wife and children when I got a call from a physician at an outside hospital who said a patient had just arrived there vomiting copious amounts of blood in their emergency room. No sooner did the person arrive that he cardiac arrested from bleeding to death. The physician had quickly put the person on life support, started a massive transfusion, and much to my surprise, brought the person back. The problem was the patient was still bleeding and needed to come to a university hospital emergently. The doctors at this hospital did not have the equipment or the expertise needed to stop the bleeding. That particular night, it was raining in ways that are unbelievable, and there was no way we could airlift this patient. So we sent our ground ambulance out with a standing order to transfuse. That patient survived. And the referring physician called us back to thank us. So reason number 4, why medical school is in fact the path of the righteous. Because you can build systems that will amplify and extend your own ability to save lives. Said simply, when you're a doctor and you have an idea that can save people's lives, those with power, influence, and money will listen to you. And the people they serve will back you. There are those of you, I'm sure, who yearn to impact public policy and contribute to the medical literature. The GW Trauma Center is the only center that has published and continues to publish on ways to mitigate death following public mass shootings. Whereas the talking heads on the news and our own legislators talk, we are the only university in the country that has reviewed the actual autopsies of victims from events such as the Pulse nightclub, the Route 91 shooting in Vegas, the San Bernardino event, and so many more. And we yearn to find ways to rescue victims from these events using evidence-based medicine. So benefit number 5 of becoming a doctor. You can impact change at a national or international level through research, through academic integrity, and through your own expertise. And I'll leave you with one final story, a story that has not yet been completed, but will come to fruition while you're a student here, so we can see how it's going to end together. When I came back to GW in 2011, I set out to get permission to build a helipad on the roof. At first I was told, that's impossible. After all, we are in presidential airspace, and that is true. We are in a no-fly zone. Only the president the military, the federal police can fly over the hospital. So I contacted the federal police. And one day I found myself in the office of a woman named Captain Kathleen Harasak of the United States Park Police, the federal entity that controls the airspace in Washington, D.C. After I explained to her that we needed a helipad in order to save the lives of critically injured, severely ill patients who needed to get to our hospital quickly but couldn't, she agreed to help me. So she said, I'll introduce you to all the other agencies in the federal government and to people who have to sign off on giving you an exemption to the no-fly rule. After getting approval from all those agencies, we had to change the law in the District of Columbia because back in the 1980s, a law had been passed forbidding the construction of any helipads in DC due to noise pollution. After about another year of meeting with lawmakers and our own neighbors, the DC City Council voted unanimously to overturn that law, and the mayor signed the bill into law just 2 months ago. We will start construction on the helipad late this fall and hope to have it fully operational by spring. So why is it that I know you made the right decision in coming to medical school? Because to paraphrase my former teacher and now colleague, Dr. Jim Scott, in the Department of Emergency Medicine, because as a doctor, you can move tremendous money with a simple signing of your name. You will have awesome power to affect change and impact lives, many of whom you will never even meet, but all of whom you can enhance and better if you so choose. Welcome to medical school and to your GW family. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Serrani. On behalf of the class of 22, we have a small token of appreciation for your thoughtful and inspiring words.
Now, for the part that we've all been waiting for, introducing the new medical students as they walk across the stage and don their new white coats. Before you get your cameras ready and start cheering for your loved ones, let me introduce to you Dean Goldberg. Dean Goldberg is the Associate Dean for Student Affairs and is responsible for all the first and second year medical students. She is the force behind many of the events that take place for students here, including orientation and the white coat ceremony. Dean Goldberg, known fondly to most students as DG, is pretty much your go-to person for just about anything. Whether you have questions about studying, are feeling overwhelmed, or just need to talk to someone about life, DG is the go-to person. So introduce yourself to her, get to know her, and keep her in your med school support team. Without further ado, let us welcome Dean Goldberg.
Thanks, Benjamin. I'd like to add my personal welcome to the class of 2022. Actually, the best part of my job is getting to know each and every one of you, and I look forward to that. I'd also like to thank Paulina and Reem and Mary for putting together this great ceremony today, as well as Carlisle, Lynn, and Will for taking photographs over the last couple days. Those memories will be with you forever, and they'll be documented. And I'd also like to thank Benjamin, Amran, and Mary. Please stand. They, along with Allie in the dean's office, spent the summer in my office with me, organizing this amazing orientation that you've had over the past couple days. So thank you. So just so you know, in an effort to get to know the students better, on the first morning of orientation, I asked them to fill out an index card. I asked them to write their name, their hometown, where they went to college or grad school, and then I asked them to put two other things on their card. The first was something they would like their classmates to know about them that wasn't on their med school application. And the second was to tell us the coolest thing they've ever seen or done. What I didn't tell them was that we will be sharing them with you today. Please bear with us as we read their cards, as we forgot to tell them to use their best penmanship. Today is an exciting beginning. I ask that each of you stop for a moment and take in all that this day means to you. As the saying goes, we don't remember days, we remember moments. This is one of those moments I hope you'll never forget. I'd like to introduce some of the other deans here on stage that will help congratulate you today. Dean Haywood. Dean Haywood is the Senior Associate Dean for Diversity and Inclusion and the Associate Dean for Student Affairs. Dean Chrétien, who's the Assistant Dean for Student Affairs. And Dean Deaton, who's the Senior Associate Dean for Clinical Public Health. So when the students walk across the stage, Dean Ackman will put on their white coat, and then they're going to walk over here and they're going to sign the honor code that every student signs when they enter medical school. They'll also sign a poster over there to thank the alumni who have donated their white coats to them. And then they'll get their first gift, as Dean Ackman said, of the reflex hammer. Dean Chrétien and Dean Deaton will help them get their gifts and sign the book. And now, Dean Haywood and I will introduce the class of 2022.
Jacob Agronin.
Jacob is from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He went to GW undergrad where he was a biology major. He says, I have recently become very involved in biking, hiking, camping, and rock climbing. And he went rappelling in slot canyons. Okay.
Olamide Akin Olukbade.
She is from Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, but now from Washington, D.C. She's a history major from Princeton, really likes cooking and baking. I need her address. She met the former president of Nigeria.
Emily Aladort.
Emily is from Los Angeles, California. She went to the University of Chicago where she was a biology major. She said she recently started rock climbing. She's a published poet. Then she says, I don't know, I'm not that interesting. And then she said she saw a cheetah hunt and kill an impala, then eat it in the wild.
Rowan Ali.
Rowan is a neuroscience major from the University of Miami. She loves fashion and has an Instagram fashion page. She also loves cave diving and kayaking in Laos.
Olivia Andretti.
Olivia is from Mooresville, North Carolina. She went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where she was a chemistry major. She says, I really like to go hiking, and I've been snorkeling with sharks and stingrays.
Rebecca Rocha.
Rebecca is from Weston, Florida. She was a biochem major at the University of Florida. She loves the outdoors, especially the beach. And she's obsessed with, I think this is dogs. She went to Europe over the summer and saw the Sistine Chapel.
Lauren Arsenault.
Lauren is from St. Paul, Minnesota. She went to Emory University, where she studied biology and Spanish, and then went to Georgetown, where she was a physiology major. She says, I love water skiing, and I've run a marathon.
Monica Atia.
Monica's from Belcamp, Maryland. She's a neurophysiology major from the University of Maryland. She's a huge foodie, and she motorcycled down mountains in Seguin, Haiti.
Kayla Athalet.
Besides a great fan club over here, Kayla is from Cumberland, Rhode Island. She went to Boston College, where she was a biochemistry major, then went to GW, where she was anatomical and transitional science major. She loves biking, running, and playing tennis, and the coolest thing I've ever done is hike and camp in Hawaii.
Juan Nicolás Barajas.
Juan is from Bogota, Colombia. He was an exercise physiology major from the University of Florida, a huge sports guy, and get this, he was at the World Cup in Russia.
Alexandra Bartlett.
Alexandra is from Las Vegas, Nevada. She went to Rhodes College, where she was a neuroscience major. She loves marine life, especially humpback whales. It looks like the coolest thing she did was get engaged. She also said she studied at Oxford University and got to see the pub where C.S. Lewis met Tolkien to discuss their writings.
Dale Andrew Batoon.
Dale is from the Bronx, New York. Studied nursing at Georgetown University. He loves playing volleyball, hopefully not while skydiving, which is his other love. And he loves the pools in Hawaii. Tide pool.
Annika Bergstrom.
Annika is from Denver, Colorado. She went to American University, where she was a public health major. She loves musical theater, board games, and hiking. And she went on an international choir tour to the Balkans, Baltics, and Russia.
Andrew Bernstein.
Andrew's from Washington, D.C. He majored in biology at Carleton College. He loves trashy reality TV. And shark diving in South Africa.
Brittany Bernstein.
Brittany is from Eagleville, Pennsylvania. She went to GW, where she was a chemistry major. She likes to play golf in her free time. I suggest you might want to do that tomorrow. I've been able to observe many eye surgeries.
Gauri Bhatnagar.
Gory's from Potomac, Maryland. She studied public health at Hopkins. She's an avid lover of the outdoors, hiking, camping, biking, kayaking. P.S. She likes to bake a lot. Be warned about her cookies. She's been to the Mount Everest base camp.
Samah Boulos.
Sam is from Ellicott City, Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland where he studied kinesiology. He loves meat. And he has swam with sea turtles at Shipwreck in Bermuda.
Haley Bush.
Haley's from Manhattan Beach, California. She studied public health at Hopkins and got her MSPH from the Bloomberg School of Public Health. She is a twin. She loves to backpack, zero gravity flight, and bungee jumped from the tallest point in New Zealand.
Catherine Cavallo.
Catherine is from Alexandria, Virginia. She went to Columbia University where she was a neuroscience major. She says, I'm very close with my family, and the coolest thing I've done is cage dive with sharks.
Eric Chaliff.
Eric's from Huntington, New York. He went to Dartmouth where he studied art history. He loves eating and cooking, and he loves agriculture. He traveled around Europe for several months working on farms and vineyards.
Bill Chan.
Bill is from Millbrae, California. He went to UC Davis as a chemistry major. He collects vinyl records, and he likes skydiving in California.
Christabel Chan.
Christabel is from Toronto, Canada. She's a GW biology graduate. Her dream is to spend a month on a catamaran with no phone reception in the middle of the ocean. This past summer, she went to Australia and got to scuba dive in the Great Barrier Reefs.
Erica Shemtob.
Erica is from Winter Park, Florida. She went to GW, where she was a public health major and a music minor. She loves hiking, and the coolest thing she's done is ride camels in Israel.
Leon Chen.
Leon is from San Jose, California. He studied writing at Johns Hopkins. He wants to be a short story author, non-medical fiction. The coolest thing he's ever done is watch shooting stars with high school friends in an empty park.
Sophia Chernett.
Sophia is from Cleveland, Ohio. She went to Dartmouth College where she was a sociology major. She has a goal of trying food from each country. And the coolest thing she's done is she has moved to her dream city for med school.
Kabir Chabra.
Kabir is from Potomac, Maryland. He's a GW economics grad. He's an avid Marvel movie fan and likes to read about theories and predictions for upcoming films. He's been skydiving.
Yashwant Chalakuru.
Yash is from Hawkinson, Delaware. He went to GW undergrad where he was an econ and bio major. And then he went to the University College in London where he got an MS in entrepreneurship. When cooking, I like to eat most of the vegetables raw when cutting. I ran a marathon in the Arctic Circle at midnight.
Minjun Michael Choi.
Michael's from McLean, Virginia. He's a neuroscience grad from William and Mary. He was accepted into art school for fashion, but came here instead.
Ellen Cohn.
Ellen is from Dallas, Texas. She went to Washington University in St. Louis, where she was a philosophy and neuroscience and psychology major. Then she got an MPH at GW. She has a dog named Willie. He's so cute, part Dachshund and part Lab. And the coolest thing I've ever done was Narcan being administered and working.
Hannah Crowder.
Hannah is from Lynchburg, Virginia. She's a biochem major from Washington and Lee University, has an MPH from Hopkins. She loves road trips, and she backpacked 3 months through Southeast Asia, Africa, and Eastern Europe.
Alana Cruz Bandazu.
Alana is from San Juan, Puerto Rico. She went to the University of Pennsylvania, where she was a neuroscience major. She says, I was featured in a Finnish newspaper, she doesn't say why, and zip lining in Cancun.
Iman Dadashian.
Iman is from Los Angeles, California. He's a UCLA graduate in molecular and cell developmental bio. He loves horror movies and scary events like haunts at Halloween. He's been snorkeling in a crater, something like that, with sharks, and eaten live sea urchins in Japan's fish market. And Sarah Silverman sat on his lap and whispered sweet nothings to him.
Madeline Blair Danielson.
Madeline is from San Diego, California. She went to New York University, where she was an anthropology and linguistics major. She says, I know almost every line to the movie Back to the Future. And I once played piano with a famous musician. Who's that? I guess we're not going to find out.
Corey DeFreitas.
Corey is from Charlottesville, Virginia, and he has a BS in biomedical engineering from UVA. This is the sweetest ever. He and his wife are expecting a baby girl in November.
Nero Desai.
Nero's from Toms River, New Jersey. He went to St. Bonaventure University, where he was a psychology major. He loves to watch movies, and the coolest thing he's ever seen is his cousin being born.
Sajani Desai.
Sajani is from Ann Arbor, Michigan. She's a neuroscience major from the University of Michigan, and she loves hiking and spending time outdoors. She rode on an elephant up a mountain to a historic palace in Jaipur, India.
Samantha De Silva.
Samantha is from Baltimore County, Maryland. She went to the University of Maryland, where she was a neurobiology and physiology major. She also minored in Spanish. She says, I love to bake and travel. I will entirely bake too much and share. That's a good thing. I also travel a lot with my family and go hiking. I went to a palace in Spain and it was beautiful. I also swam in the Mediterranean.
Tina Doan.
Tina is from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. She's a molecular biology graduate from Princeton, and she's never had coffee before. That'll change. Don't try this at home, but she says she can fit inside a dryer.
Wynn Dobbs.
Wynn is from Laurel, Massachusetts, maybe? Oh, Mississippi. How'd you know that? Okay, he's from Laurel, Mississippi. He went to GW undergrad. He was an international affairs major. He loves to hike. He visited a national park this summer and climbed Mount Rainier.
Alexa Dezeni.
Alexis is from Richmond, Virginia. She's a biology graduate from University of Virginia, and she has traveled to Europe, parts of South America. She's hiked and has hiked parts of the Blue Ridge.
Levi Bryce Aduna Obama.
Levi is from Marietta, Durham, North Carolina. Yeah? Oh, good. Went to Duke University where he was a biochem major. He's YouTube creator, Pokemon card collector, and Costa Rican cloud forest.
Abdurrahman Ruma El Nasah.
Ruma is from Richmond, Virginia. He's a philosophy major from VCU. He does MMA, whatever that is, and plays soccer. He also is he pro slid off of a mountain in Brazil.
Erin Felton.
Erin is from Pacific Palisades, California. She went to UC Berkeley, where she was a public health major. She says, I love to cook and have an obsession with cookbooks, always having people over to try out new recipes. She took a seaplane from Lopez Island to Seattle and landed on Lake Union.
Melinda Fu.
Melinda's from Woodstock, Maryland. She graduated from the University of Maryland in government and politics. She's a big Boston Celtics fan. And she wants to go to as many Wizards games as possible while here in medical school. She performed at the Meyerhoff with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra.
Jessica Gaffney.
Jess is from Santa Barbara, California. She went to Claremont McKenna College, where she was a biology and literature major. She says, I love no hands spaghetti. What is it? You just eat it with your face? What does that mean? I don't know. I helped lift a camper up a rock wall since he had limited mobility in his legs.
Kamran Aganji.
Kamran is from Spokane, Washington. He went to the University of Washington and is a neurobiology major. He has turned his ACL twice on the same side, broken the other knee, dislocated one of his shoulders, etc., etc. Yet he still continues to play soccer somehow.
Andrew Garcia.
Andrew is from Tucson, Arizona. He went to the University of Arizona, where he was a something sciences major, and then went to University of Arizona, where he was a pharmacy major. He went to India to teach swim lessons, and the coolest thing he's done is propose in Cancun.
Heather Gatens.
Heather's from Poca, West Virginia. She's a psychology major from Washington and Jefferson. Nobody bothers her because she does Muay Thai, and it's amazing. She lived in Hanoi, Vietnam for 14 months and spent a lot of time with the local people.
Allie Gioca.
Allie is from Rochester, New York. She went to GW undergrad, where she was a philosophy and biology major. She says, I am passionate about bioethics, the ethics of medical practice, and hope to someday merge philosophy and medicine in my career. She says the coolest thing she did was play upright bass at the White House.
Eleanor Gerhard.
Eleanor is from Philadelphia. She went to St. Bonaventure, where she was a biology major. She loves to hike and run, and she hiked up the 3rd tallest mountain in Africa.
Liz Gandackley.
Liz is from Toledo, Ohio. She went to Ohio State, where she was an econ and poli-sci major, and then went to Ohio State for law school. I have a corgi named Keith. I have a large green Jeep and can help you move. She saw the pyramids in Egypt and went skydiving.
Naomi Goldstein.
Naomi is from Rockville, Maryland, a mechanical engineering graduate from Washington University in St. Louis. She loves the outdoors, and this summer she biked from the coast of Virginia to the coast of Oregon.
Tiffany Gonzalez.
Tiffany is from Foothill Ranch, California. She went to Scripps College, where she was an art major. She says, I have a 4th degree master in Taekwondo. I also played in a mariachi group. And the coolest thing I've done is break a cement brick with my hand.
Daniel Gorlick.
Daniel's from Rockville, Maryland. He attended the University of Maryland, where he was a neurobiology and physiology major. He collects sneakers, but refuses to say how many pairs he owns.
Tori Greaves.
Tori is from Wilmington, Delaware. She went to Boston University, where she was a human physiology major. She says, I like to travel, and I have snowshoed in the French Alps.
Nathaniel Grimes.
Nathaniel's from Sacramento, California. He's a pharmaceutical chemistry major from UC Davis, a scuba diver, but more importantly, he tells me he is a Marine aircraft firefighter. Wow.
Nicole Ganoenfa.
Nicole's from Portsmouth, Virginia, went to Washington and Lee University, where she was a neuroscience major. She's been to an elephant orphanage in Sri Lanka, and she volunteered at the UN World Conference on Disaster Relief in Japan in 2015.
Puneet Gupta.
Puneet is from Ashburn, Virginia. He's a biology major from St. Bonaventure. He's an intramural basketball 5-on-5 champion and a U.S. soccer certified referee.
Naishida Greyjala.
Naishida is from Lancaster, Massachusetts, went to St. Bonaventure University where she was a biology major. She said, I'm really into painting and I've been a citizen of 3 different countries.
Rami Halissa.
Rami's from Orange County, California, went to UC Irvine, majoring in biological sciences. Says he's always open to try new things, and he's been zip lining in the rainforests of Mexico and loved seeing the mountains as far as the eye could see.
Neha Haridasa.
Neha is from San Jose, California. She went to Vanderbilt University where she majored in neuroscience and public health. She said, fact, I am double jointed in my shoulders. The coat must be easy to put on. Okay. I once spent a summer in Kenya where I helped give birth to a baby.
Allison Harvey.
Allison's from Sacramento, California. She's a psychology and neuroscience major from Harvard. She has 3 sisters and 5 nieces and nephews. Her newest niece is Goldie, and she is 6 months old. She loves them all.
Rachel Herrera.
Rachel is from La Crescenta, California. She went to Scripps College, where she was an art conservation major. She likes hiking and rock climbing, and she's gone shark cage diving.
Adrian Hino.
Adrian's from Los Angeles, California, a biology major from Scripps College. She spent a lot of her childhood in Hawaii, where her dad grew up. Both her older and younger brothers call her little sister because they're both taller than her.
Jory Hodges.
Jory's from Raleigh, North Carolina. She went to UNC Charlotte, where she was an anthropology major. She says this is her first time moving out of the state in her adult life, and she loves music and cliff jumping.
Ryan Hodgson.
Ryan is from Richmond, Virginia, a sociology and anthropology major from Washington and Lee. She likes karaoke, but don't ask her to do it because she says she's not good at it.
Gary Hovsepian.
Gary is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He went to GW undergrad, where he was a biology major. He says, I care about others and want everyone to succeed to the best of their ability. I climbed a mountain even though I am afraid of heights, and the walk down was the scariest thing in my life.
Nina Hugh.
Nina's from Mansfield, Massachusetts. She went to St. Bonaventure as a biology major. Her goal is to make it to all 7 continents. So far, she's been to 4.
Jung Ha.
Jong is from Seoul, South Korea. She went to the College of William and Mary, where she was a neuroscience major. She says, I love visiting new places whenever I have time. I also like artsy things. And the coolest thing she's ever seen is a Chainsmokers concert.
Alex Ip.
Alex is from Springfield, Virginia, got a biology degree from VCU and a master's in public health from GW. He really enjoys cooking, and coolest thing was he visited Antelope Canyon in Arizona.
Sneha Iyer.
Sena is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She went to the University of Pittsburgh, where she was a psychology and dance major. And the coolest thing is she got accepted to GW while cliff diving in Mykonos.
Ian John.
Ian's from Memphis, Tennessee, and went to Rhodes College, where he earned a degree in biology and a minor in chemistry, I think. He loves watching basketball and football, and he loves hanging out with his friends. He went surfing in Hawaii.
Margot Johnson.
Margot is from Denver, Colorado. She went to Southern Methodist University, where she was a music and chemistry major. She says, I'm a big foodie and love to try new foods and restaurants. And once I got to go on a safari in Tanzania.
Nisha Kapani.
Nisha's from Lorton, Virginia. She went to George Mason University as a neuroscience and dance major. She loves playing sports and being active, and the coolest thing she ever did was open heart surgery on fetal pigs.
Alina Kapoor.
Elena is from Potomac, Maryland. She went to GW, where she was a biology major. She knows how to navigate a boat, and the coolest thing she's done is helping a Ragdan cat give birth.
David Kaufman.
David is from Ambler, Pennsylvania, a biomedical engineering graduate from Penn State. He is somewhat adventurous and enjoys trying new things and being outdoors. His coolest adventure was going to the Great Wall of China.
Jayanidhi Ketta.
From Hackensack, Delaware. She went to Johns Hopkins University, where she was a neuroscience major. This is good news. I love to bake cookies, brownies, cakes, etc. Nothing too fancy. But if we're friends, you're likely to get lots of desserts. The coolest thing she has seen is Beyonce in concert at Made in America Festival.
Devin Getman Kelly.
Devin is from Alameda, California. She's a graduate of the University of Michigan in neuroscience. She went to Georgetown for a master's in physiology. She loves ballet, and her coolest experience is traveling to Beirut, Lebanon.
Meghna Kiswani.
Meg is from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. She went to GW undergrad as a biology major. She says, I come from an Indian and English household, so I am well versed with Indian cooking and often have tea brewing at any given moment. I went quad biking in the deserts of Dubai along the sand dunes.
Lori Kim.
Lori is from Salt Lake City, Utah. She attended St. Bonaventure, a biology major there. and she says she can eat a whole bag of Ruffles potato chips in one sitting.
Andrea Klein.
Andrea is from San Diego, California. She went to UC San Diego, where she was a biochemistry and cell biology major, specializing in neuroscience and molecular genetics. I love to travel and see new places, but I've only left the country once. I traveled to Israel for 3 weeks with my brother, Dead Sea, Jerusalem, etc. And the coolest medical thing I have seen was the removal of a pituitary tumor.
Kelsey Knapp.
Kelsey's from Upper Sandusky, Ohio, went to Vanderbilt University, a medicine, health, and society major. She says she has a very tight-knit family, a puppy named Lydia, and her best experience was witnessing an infant with spina bifida have a successful fetal surgery and remain in utero for 3 more months.
Michael Coteau.
Michael is from Miami, Florida. He went to FIU, where he was a biology major and dance minor. He provided security for President Obama, and he climbed Mount Fuji.
Sean Kripalani.
Sean is from Mahwah, New Jersey, went to Emory, where he studied biology and philosophy, then went to Georgetown to study biotechnology. He's a big fan of film, theater, and TV. He took an Uber speedboat throughout the islands of Croatia.
Connor Kuipers.
Connor's from Holland, Michigan. He went to Calvin College, where he was a biochem major and a Spanish major. I love performing arts, musicals, theater, orchestra performances. And the coolest thing he's seen is a sunset on Lake Michigan.
Genevieve Kupsky.
Genevieve is from Illinois, near St. Louis. She went to Vanderbilt, where she studied medicine, health, and society. We are in the presence of royalty. Princess Di was her 9th cousin. The coolest thing she's done is go on an international tour with her violin ensemble.
Stephen Koropati.
Stephen is from Hagerstown, Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland, where he studied neurobiology and physiology. He likes candles, and he's been to a remote village in India.
Samantha Lahav.
Samantha's from Miami, Florida. She studied biology at the University of Florida. She's backpacked through Southeast Asia and rode a motorcycle in the mountains of Vietnam.
Victoria Larson.
Victoria is from Southfield, Michigan. She went to Howard University, where she was a biology major. She says, I'm a vegetarian, 5 years strong, and I rode in a U.S. Park Police helicopter for a sunset tour of D.C.
Grace Lee.
Grace is from Nashville, Tennessee, a biology major from Southern Adventist University. She's fluent in Korean, and she's run a marathon and been to 50 concerts in the last 3 years.
Matthew Liu.
Matthew is from Potomac, Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland, where he was a physiology and neurobiology major. He says, I go to the gym religiously at 5 a.m. every single morning. And the coolest thing he's seen is a glacier breaking off.
Nicole Lum.
Nicole is from Acadia, California, a UCLA graduate with a degree in biology. She wants her classmates to know that she's a more dynamic individual than she is on paper.
Isabel McKenzie.
Isabel is from Washington, D.C. She went to Dalhousie University, where she was a biology major. She says, I really enjoy hiking and camping and am always up for being a wilderness buddy. The coolest thing she's seen or done is whitewater kayaking down the Nile River and volunteering in a rural clinic in Uganda.
Linda Mangera.
Linda's from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. She went to the University of Waterloo, where she was a biomedical sciences major. She loves to go to concerts and try new foods, and she did a volunteer trip to Ecuador.
Alex Marchak.
Alex is from Homedale, New Jersey, went to GWU, where he was a biology major. He loves pasta dishes, and he has gone inside the pyramids in Egypt.
Veronica Mark.
Veronica is from Los Altos, California, went to Scripps College, a biophysics major. Her sense of humor revolves around dad jokes. She loves to explore small towns, and she can bake a mean banana bread.
Catherine Markin.
Kat is from Potomac, Maryland. She went to Michigan, where she was a cellular biology major. I enjoy cooking, especially baking, and I snorkeled in the Great Barrier Reef.
Gwen Martin.
Gwen is from Boulder, Colorado. She's a Hopkins graduate as a civil engineer. She wants to learn Spanish and lived in Liberia for 2 years with the Peace Corps.
Megan McClanahan.
Megan is from Papillion, Nebraska. She went to Chaminade University in Honolulu, where she was a biology major. She has an identical twin, and the coolest thing she did was live in Hawaii for 4 years.
Tara McCluskey.
Tara is from Madison, Connecticut, a GW graduate from the School of Public Health. She has a fat cat named Pumpkin, and she traveled Europe for 35 days last summer.
Leah McDaniel.
Leah is from Phoenix, Arizona. She went to Brandeis, where she was an economics and public health major. She says, I want to travel to 6 of the 7 continents by the time I'm 30. And she stayed at a marine biology research station in Costa Rica and hiked the volcano.
Matt McCarg.
Matt is from Fairfax Station, Virginia, an engineering graduate from James Madison University and a graduate of the GW Postbac Pre-Med program. He's a certified open water scuba diver, and he traveled to Europe for a month recently.
Brianna McKiernan.
Brianna is from Vienna, Virginia. She went to North Carolina State University, where she was a chemistry major. She says, I am half Jewish, and my grandmother is a Holocaust survivor. She went on an 8th grade field trip to the DMZ and stepped into North Korea.
Nikita Maida.
Nikita is from West Nyack, New York, a Hopkins graduate from the public health with a public health major. She loves to scrapbook, and she went to a Real Madrid game.
Ian Messing.
Ian is from Miami, Florida. He went to the University of Miami, where he was a finance and accounting major. And he went to the University of Miami, where he got a Master of Science in taxation. He loves to cook, golf, fish, and scuba dive, and he traveled to Southeast Asia.
Sarah Milan.
Sarah's from New Orleans, Louisiana. She went to Vanderbilt with a major in Spanish, neuroscience, and molecular and cellular biology. She likes hot yoga, and she's been bungee jumping and free falling. The coolest thing she's seen is going to the top of the Swiss Alps.
Daniela Mirda.
Danielle is from Napa, California. She went to Harvard University, where she was a human biology major, and she hiked the third tallest volcano in Central America.
Camelia Mwalem.
Camelia is from Alexandria, Virginia. She's a graduate of the University of Virginia in math and biology. She loves nature, hiking, and being outside, and she hiked a Costa Rican jungle at night in flip-flops.
Hira Mahayuddin.
Vera is from Alexandria, Virginia. She went to UVA, where she was a cognitive neuroscience major. She says, I was a black belt instructor in Taekwondo for 2 years, and she rode a hot air balloon in Turkey.
Nikita Mortimer.
Nikita is from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. She went to NYU with a degree in economics, and she wants to do DO stuff as an MD. And she ate the best pizza in Naples.
خشایار مظفری.
Sayar's from Orange County, California. He went to UCSB, where he was a biology major. He plays an instrument called santur. Santur? Yes? I went to the World Cup game in Russia.
Jordan Mullings.
Jordan is from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He has an economics degree from the University of Florida and an MBA from the University of Florida. He's visited 12 countries, and he likes skydiving.
Adam Monday.
Adam is from Sammamish, Washington. He went to the University of Maryland, where he was a kinesiology major. And then he got a special master's degree in physiology from Georgetown. He says, I'm a computer tech, software, and hardware guy. And I skated in front of thousands of people against others trying out for the Olympic team.
Isabel Nair.
Isabel is from Seattle, Washington. She's a neuroscience major from Hopkins. She's hiked, skied, and camped on over 50 mountains and has visited 5 continents.
Daniel Roland Nemirovsky.
Daniel is from Baltimore, Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland, where he was a psychology major. He says, my family has a cat with no hair, and he went skydiving in Switzerland.
Matt Newman.
Matt is from Wake Forest, North Carolina. a political science and biology major from UNC Chapel Hill. He's a big stand-up comedy fan, and he's walked through ice caves on top of glaciers in Iceland.
Andy Nguyen.
Andy is from Dozier City, Louisiana. He went to Rhodes College where he was a chemistry major. He's got a second-degree black belt. He loves his family and friends, and he pulled an all-nighter in New Orleans.
Connie Nguyen.
Connie's from Silver Spring, Maryland. She's a bioengineering graduate from the University of Maryland. She loves playing a game of Tetris because it helps her think better. And she did a bike tour across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Abigail Nolan.
Abigail is from Prospect Heights, Illinois. She went to Catholic University where she was a biology major. She loves to read any type of book, but mostly historical fiction. I have stage managed 10 shows theater, and I bungee jumped in Switzerland.
Dylan Nussbaum.
Dylan is from Potomac, Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland, graduated with a degree in psychology. He is a triplet. He loves dogs, and he took a trip to Thailand and Bali with his girlfriend this summer.
Chukwunonso Wasike.
From Brooklyn, New York, he went to Brooklyn College where he was a biology and philosophy major. He used to do stand-up comedy, and he was a stunt double in a student film and jumped out of a 3-story building.
Deqa Isadine Umar.
Dega is from Vienna, Virginia. She attended the University of Virginia, earned a degree in anthropology and subsequently an MPH. She loves to cycle, and the coolest thing she's done is hike a volcano.
Obina Omerondi.
He's from Cypress, California. He went to GW undergrad as a biophysics major. He says, I would like to learn how to cook dishes from around the world and make them well. And the coolest thing he's done is played football, meaning soccer, with people from France, Spain, Germany, Argentina, and England.
Adrian Ortiz.
Adrian is from Miami, Florida. He attended Brandeis University and has a degree in biology. He was born with one kidney, and the coolest thing he's done is hike a rainforest in Costa Rica.
Kareem Osman.
Kareem is from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He went to Johns Hopkins where he was a molecular and cellular biology major as well as neuroscience. He's looking for friends to row and play squash with. And the coolest thing he's done is climb Machu Picchu mountain while raining.
Andrew Francisco Osorio.
Andrew is from Johns Creek, Georgia. He went to the University of Florida and was a health sciences major. He has a passion for research. The coolest thing he's ever done is snorkel on the Great Barrier Reef.
Arman Panahi.
Arman is from Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. He went to St. Bonaventure University where he was a biology major. He says, I'm trilingual and I've flown a plane before.
Hyo Park.
Yo is from Honolulu, Hawaii. He attended Chaminade University there and is with a major in biochemistry. He was a search and rescue swimmer for the U.S. Navy.
Harsha Parthasarathi.
Varsha is from Phoenix, Arizona, went to St. Bonaventure University where she was a biology major. She said, I did Indian classical dance and singing for several years, and she skydived in Mexico.
Marie Claire Partridge.
Marie is from Paris, France. She attended Brown University with a major in neuroscience. She loves to travel and meet new people and go on adventures. She spent 2 years in Cameroon and saw lots of cool stuff there and ate plenty of weird food.
King John Pasquale.
King John was from McAllen, Texas, went to Brown University where he was a human biology and ethics major, Relay GSE, Masters in Education. And I don't know what this is. I woofed in France for 4 weeks. Woofed? And I ate horse meat in Japan.
Akshat Patel.
Ashok is from Scranton, Pennsylvania. He's a GW graduate with a degree in chemistry. He tries to be an adventurous person and push himself to new experiences. He's been hiking to little-known parts of China.
Hina Patel.
Hina is from Galloway, New Jersey. She went to Rowan University where she was a biochemistry major. She loves traveling, meditating, the beach, and Netflix binges, and she hiked Machu Picchu.
Guido Plies.
Guido is from Frederick, Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland. He has a degree in nutrition and food sciences, and he does not like to be alone.
Molly Perkins.
Molly's from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. She went to GW undergrad where she majored in chemistry and minored in history. She says, I am obsessed with dogs. I am the person who reverses back down a road to look at a dog while driving. I also have a 12-year-old Yorkie, and I swam with dolphins.
Betsy Pettit.
Betsy is from Elkton, Virginia. She went to the University of Virginia where she earned a degree in biology. She has a twin sister, and she sang with a choir in a salt mine in Poland.
Diane Polyakov.
Diane is from Villa Park, California. She went to UC Berkeley where she majored in public health. You should meet Molly because she also loves dogs and you love dogs. And you said you will pet sit or go play at a dog park anytime. The coolest thing you've seen is, what does that say? What does that say?
We don't know.
She did something cool in Florence, Italy.
Manitha Paranki.
Manitha is from San Ramon, California. She went to St. Bonaventure University, earned a degree in biology. She loves to bake a cake, watch movies, watch TV, and also to paint. She also loves dogs and loves spending time with them.
Brad Pratarelli.
Brad is from Muskego, Wisconsin. He went to Ohio State, where he was a biology and Spanish major. He says, I climb mountains. I went to the Olympic National Park in Yosemite this summer, and he saw a waterfall gorge in Argentina.
Sarah Kadir.
Sarah is from Southbury, Connecticut, a Georgetown University graduate with a major in French. She loves to travel and is interested in learning languages. She ran the 2017 Rock and Roll DC Marathon.
Teddy Kwan.
Teddy is from Toronto, Canada. He went to St. Bonaventure, where he was a biology major. He likes Pretty Little Liars show. And the coolest thing he did was go to Kenya and touch lions.
Mawari Rahimi.
Mawari is from Fairfax, Virginia. She's a GW graduate with a degree in psychology. She eats too much hummus. And she stood on the top of the world's tallest building.
Veda Ravishankar.
Vega is from Clarksburg, Maryland. She went to the University of Maryland, where she was a bioengineering major. She says, I am an only child, and I'm going to do a tour with a professional dance company.
Randy Ray.
Randy is from Missouri. He went to NYU, is an anthropology major, did a post-bac at Wash U in St. Louis. He says his faith is the most important thing to him, and he spent New Year's Eve 2015 at the mouth of an active volcano.
Akshay Reddy.
Akshay is from Marlborough, New Jersey. He went to St. Bonaventure University, where he was a biology major. He likes playing tennis, watching sports, and the coolest thing he's seen is the Half Dome at Yosemite.
Angelica Rigo.
Angelica's from Bradenton, Florida. She went to the University of Florida with a major in biology. She used to race motocross, and she's a hip-hop connoisseur. She spent 4 days living on a sailboat.
Munib Rahman.
Munib's from Montgomery, Illinois. Went to Knox College, where he's a biochemistry major. He likes video gaming, and the coolest thing I've done is driven up a mountain in Pakistan.
Brooke Rice.
Brooke is from Hollywood, Florida. She's a GW graduate with a degree in biological anthropology and theater. She loves musical theater and has been performing and producing for years. She caught and released multiple sharks while fishing with her family in Florida.
Jason Richards.
Jason's from Potomac, Maryland. He went to Brigham Young University, where he was an economics major. He says, hiking is my jam. I hiked Angel's Landing at Zion's National Park and Cascade Canyon at the Grand Tetons.
Cecilia Rossi.
Cecilia is from Frostburg, Maryland. She's a GW grad with a degree in biology. She's close to her family, especially her 95-year-old grandmother, who she eats lots of Italian food with.
Monica Salive.
Monica is from Buffalo, New York. She went to St. Bonaventure University, where she was a biology major. She says, I'm Egyptian, but I was born in Ireland. I love to travel, read, and watch movies. The coolest thing I've ever done is pet cheetahs and elephants in Zambia.
Rena Samant.
Rena is from Kalamazoo, Michigan. She's a GW graduate with a major in psychology. She loves history, particularly European history, and the coolest thing she's seen is a geyser in New Zealand.
Sonia Samant.
Sonia is from Kalamazoo, Michigan. She went to GW. She was an economics major. One of her hobbies is knitting, and she saw the president of France when he visited GW in the spring.
Pavneet Sandhu.
Pavneet is from Alpharetta, Georgia. She's a GW graduate with a degree in public health. After she was born, she spent the next 3.5 years of her life in India. The coolest thing she's done is to go zip lining in Hawaii.
Alexis Sandler.
Alexis is from Coralsville, Iowa, and Bethesda, Maryland. She went to GW, where she was an organizational sciences major. She said, I lived at a fire station for the past year and went fly fishing in Alaska and hiking through Iceland.
Madhavi Shankar.
Madhuri is from Ellicott City, Maryland. She went to the University of Maryland, where she earned a biology degree. She loves to travel, and she has a really long bucket list. The coolest thing she's done is climb up technically the tallest mountain in the world, which is in Hawaii.
Natalie Scanlon.
Natalie's from Charlottesville, Virginia. She went to Rhodes College, where she was an urban and community health major. She loves making art, specifically watercolor and zines. I studied abroad in Spain and participated in a women's march there.
Samuel Schlegert.
Samuel is from Tiburon, California. He went to Emory, where he earned a degree in biology. He's outdoorsy and has gone on several long backpacking and river rafting trips. He went scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef.
Ian Schoenman.
Ian's from Rockville, Maryland. He went to the University of Michigan, where he was a mathematics major. He loves baking, especially when stressed. His favorites to make are brownies and blondies, and he went cliff diving in upstate New York.
Kate Schreiner.
Kate is from Sacramento, California. She went to UC Berkeley, where she earned a degree in integrative biology. She loves to hike and travel, and she likes to stay healthy, exercise, and eat nutritious foods.
Barry So.
Barry is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She went to Harvard, where she was a human biology major. She says, I love to write. Maybe one day I'll work on a book. And I just went skydiving a week ago. Amazing experience.
Meghna Sharma.
Meghna is from Ashburn, Virginia. She earned a degree in biology from St. Bonaventure. She loves traveling, and her family and friends mean the world to her. And she can't wait to meet her new GW family.
Christina Sinkovich.
Christina is from Alexandria, Virginia. She went to Swarthmore College, where she was a neuroscience major. She likes to bake and enjoys playing basketball. And she saw a surgery to realign the spine of a scoliosis patient.
Kirkland Smith.
Kirkland is from Gastonia, North Carolina. He earned a degree in biology and psychology from UNC Chapel Hill, and he really likes going to happy hour.
Rachel Soriano.
Rachel is from Laredo, Texas. She went to Skidmore College, where she was a sociology major. She also went to the London School of Economics and Political Science, where she was health policy major. She speaks 4 languages, and she always carries hot sauce with her. She has an obsession with spicy food. The coolest thing she's seen is the treasury at Petra in Jordan.
Jason Stein.
Jason is from Washington, D.C. He went to McDaniel College, where he earned a degree in biology and psychology. He runs a business, and he modeled for the Ford Modeling Agency in Manhattan.
Danusha Subramani.
Danusha is from Johns Creek, Georgia. She went to Georgia Tech, where she was a literature, media, and communication major. She says, I enjoy cooking. My favorite thing to make are quiches. And the coolest thing she's done is feed an elephant.
Emily Sun.
Emily is from Herndon, Virginia. She went to the University of Virginia, earned a biology degree, and then a degree in physiology from Georgetown. She has a side business sewing thrifted clothes off the internet. And she saw Beyonce at Coachella.
Alicia Swin.
Alicia is from Washington, D.C. She went to Georgetown, where she was a biochem major. She has moved 6 times, and she went to a yoga retreat in Bali.
Fahim Syed.
Fahim is from Alexandria, Virginia. He's a GW graduate with degrees in chemistry and philosophy. He likes electronic music and going to shows. The coolest thing he's done is ride on an elephant.
Samantha Terhar.
Samantha's from Olean, New York. Went to St. Bonaventure University, where she was a bioinformatics major. She says, I worked in a knife factory over the summer. I have 2 brothers and a sister, and I spent 2 weeks in Uganda.
George Thomas.
George is from Cockeysville, Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland, earned a degree in biology. He loves the MBA, and he doesn't even know what this is he wrote on the second line.
Rahema Jamila Thomas.
Rahema is from Columbia, South Carolina. She went to the University of South Carolina, where she was a chemistry and psych major. She says, I love to watch reality TV, and I love to party. She walked on a glacier in Alaska, drank purest water in America.
Shannon Tillery.
Shannon is from New York, New York. She went to Hunter College with a major in sociology. She likes to play the guitar, write, and sing music. She got to live in Paris, Milan, Tokyo, and London for extended periods of time while she was working in fashion.
Prerna Upal.
Prerna is from Anaheim, California. She went to UC Berkeley, where she was an English major. She says, I'm extremely passionate about traveling, and more specifically, finding great places to eat. My family loves good food and warm weather. I practiced archery this summer in a Croatian castle where Games of Thrones was filmed.
Bobby Vinmali.
Bobby is from LA. He went to the University of California, Los Angeles, where he majored in neuroscience. has a physiology master's from Georgetown. He loves cooking and hosting dinner parties.
Adele Vainberg.
Idell's from Palo Verdes Estates in California. She went to Brandeis University. She was a psychology and health science, society, and policy major. She loves cooking, and she went to Rwanda and worked in a local hospital.
Prashanthi Vemu.
Prashanthi is from Fremont, California, earned a bioengineering degree from UC San Diego. She comes from a giant Indian family, and she's very close to her distant Indian relatives. She saw her ancestral home village in India, constructed in the 1800s with 25 to 30 rooms.
Kirthi Vamuapalli.
Kirthi is from Phoenix, Arizona. She went to California State University, where she was an environmental health major. She loves ice cream and most desserts, and Cirque du Soleil acts, and she loves watching and learning acrobatics.
Abya Tanya Vij.
Abya is from Great Falls, Virginia. She went to William and Mary, a neuro and computer science major. She loves to make art in different media, painting, cut paper, sculptures, etc. She went to the Amazon rainforest, where she swam with pink dolphins and held giant spiders.
Catherine Vincent.
Catherine is from Minneapolis, Minnesota. She went to Grinnell College, where she was a biology and French major. She loves to hike and be outdoors. She likes exploring new places with friends and my wife. I'm pumped to hang out with my new niece and nephews, and the coolest thing I've ever done is live in the Naib Desert.
Ian Walker.
Ian is from Melbourne, Florida, attended Florida State University with a major in biochemistry. His dad was in the Army and inspired him to serve in the Army as a physician. The coolest place he's ever been is the Greek islands.
Elaine Wong.
Elaine is from Redmond, Washington. She went to Claremont McKenna College, where she was a biology and Asian American studies major. She studied in Chile and backpacked through Patagonia with her sister Laura. And the coolest thing she's seen is a rainbow mantis shrimp spotted while diving in Bali. Look it up, it's so cool.
Talia Weinshell.
Talia is from South Dartmouth, Massachusetts. She's a GW grad in biomedical engineering. She grew up on a farm, and she is the 7th child of 8. She shot a rifle and hit a target from over 20 yards away on the first try.
Zach Whiting.
Zach is from Cleveland, Ohio. He went to the University of Virginia, where he was a biology and economics major. He says, I have an irrational fear that I will have another horrific sports injury. And the coolest thing he's seen or done is an 8 to 10 foot bull shark swimming silently below me in the Bahamas.
Tong Yan.
Tong is from Fountain Valley, California. He went to UC Berkeley with a degree in anthropology and then got a master's from Columbia. He loves to cook and bake, but he played piano with the drummer on the Colbert Show.
Sammy Yerushalmi.
Sammy's from Potomac, Maryland. He went to the University of Maryland, where he was a chemistry major. He took a cross-country road trip from D.C. to California when he was in college, and he's a Persian Jew.
Diego Segarra.
Diego is from Orlando, Florida, got a biophysics degree from Hopkins. He's really into music, except country. He took a boat and was able to see the Nazca lines really close.
Jessica Zerlo.
Jessica's from Bloomfield, New Jersey. She went to Penn State, where she's a biology major. She enjoys gardening and using these foods to cook with. She went to Rotterdam and saw the cube houses, which are little apartments tilted on the points of the cubes. And that is the class of 2022.
Okay, congratulations, class of 2022. Yesterday, Dean Simons talked to you about the social contract that we in the medical profession have with our patients and with society. In 4 years, when you graduate, you will be granted your MD degree and recite the Hippocratic Oath. The Hippocratic Oath is a time-honored reflection of the professional values and behaviors that physicians commit to as part of that social contract. Today, along with signing our honor code, we ask our new students to join with our faculty and alumni in reciting an oath written for the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences by a group of former students, faculty, and deans, meant to be an explicit commitment to the ideals and values that we promise to uphold as part of that social contract, and to each other as members of this community. While professionalism requires more than a vow to good intentions, it is important that we are explicit about what our responsibilities and obligations are as members of the medical profession and the GW School of Medicine and Health Sciences. Would the following please stand? Alumni of the GW School of Medicine and Health Sciences. Great. Including in the audience. Any faculty, residents, and staff. And all medical students. We will recite together the oath on the back of the program, following the prompts on the page. So where it says all, we can all speak. Okay. We pledge to serve our patients, their families, our community, and each other with respect, competence, compassion, and humanity. We hold as our ideal the care and treatment of our patients. From them we will learn. We hold as our ideal the advance of knowledge. Through it, disease will be understood, prevented, and cured. We hold as our ideal open-minded collaboration. To this we are collectively committed. We hold as our ideal critical self-evaluation. Through this we will grow. We promise to serve as worthy role models, as our own teachers have before us. We promise to support your personal and professional growth in the clinic, in the laboratory, in the community, and in your own teaching.
We promise to pursue responsibly our quality to patient care, to service, and to research.
We promise to maintain an environment where scientific integrity and ethical standards sustain your trust in us.
We commit ourselves to the highest standards of academic honesty, scientific integrity, and ethical practice as students in our professional lives.
We honor the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences' history of service to the people of the nation and its capital. We embrace this rich tradition of teaching and research excellence. We accept the challenges and opportunities of those alumni whom we follow. We solemnly pledge our faith to this oath and our assistance to others to do the same. Congratulations, new students, and again, welcome to my
GW is known for its collaborative and community-oriented environment. It is this very environment that encourages students to rely on each other during the challenging times and to celebrate each other's successes. During orientation, from the first awkward highs to playing bubble soccer together during activities day, each student met many great friends for the first time. These friendships will continue to develop over the next 4 years and beyond to lifelong friendships. Let's take a look at these new beginnings and what your students have been up to for the past couple of days.
Well, with a final congratulations to our newest students, we're going to bring our ceremony to a close. I would like to thank the following students who helped support their ceremony and the orientation week. Our white coat ceremony co-coordinators, Reem Al-Shabib and Paulina Ong. And our orientation chairs, Arman Hussein, Benjamin Lamb, and Mary Mateki. Our student speaker, Pranav Kaul. And I also want to thank Pauline Lee, Jeshua Karanakaran, Ryan Lin, and Madhuri Rao for providing us the beautiful music. Let's give them an applause. And also Dr. Babak Sarani for your inspiring words today. Finally, I want to acknowledge Allie Johnson, our coordinator of the Office of Student Affairs, for all of her efforts behind the scenes, as well as Dean Rhonda Goldberg for her coordination of the white coat ceremony and the orientation week. Thanks, Rhonda, for doing all that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today for this special ceremony. We look forward to meeting you and your guests at the reception that will begin at the close of this ceremony. You will receive final instructions now from our student representatives. Enjoy the rest of your day.
At this time, we would like to have the students proceed out. Students, please follow the ushers. refreshments and photo opportunities. When you exit here, turn left, cross the street, The doors will be several yards up on the left. Thank you again. Welcome to the class of 2022, and we hope that you enjoyed celebrating with us.